bestseller if I do well, I'm not sure. Still make movies, including my manuscript and a VHS tape. I think it'd make a good movie. ASF.
What follows is an account of the deaths of poets Beauregard Clemens and Felix Jean by me, Anton Stephen Fowle, first mate of SS Commander, former occupation, poet. I confess as a younger man, I was quick to praise the intoxicating notion of blind faith. I was what most would call strong-headed, stubborn, firm in my convictions. And I was likewise trusting of those dangerous and foolish falsehoods called friends. What I can say of the exact conversation the evening prior is very little, although I can surely imagine a list of Grossack, Milton, Joyce, Borges, Jafar, Homer. The only thing to linger with my hangover was a swelling statement. I had forcefully announced and pressed my opinion that the only true poet was the blind poet.
Glad to see you showed.
Anton.
No need to worry, old-timer.
I'm not worried.
We want to make sure you know what you're doing.
What you're agreeing.
Agreeing to.
What you've agreed to.
I said what I said.
Just because you said it, that doesn't mean you have to prove.
Shut up, Bo. Give the boy some credit. He said his piece.
Well, I'm ready to move forward.
I want to know that you believe. I mean, I want to know.
There's only one way for you to know, Bo. Well? And so, I let my companions cut out my eyes. It was Felix who spoke first, telling Bo about his prophetic notion of the poetic war being taken to the streets, telling Bo of the need for physical poetry, of the poet as warrior. They were men of the word, men of a crusade. They were waist deep in an awful war raging out before them. Then I less, stood, and with glass to toast, spoke profoundly to war, making ourselves a declaration of fire, to burn for the spirit of the poet, to commit ourselves to a holy war for the triumph of the free life, to deny both God and the devil, to deny the world and the self, and to destroy all that stands in the path of freedom. Awake now, with vision of green and blue now past. Cold, wet tissue. Foreign invaders telling me light and shadow. Telling me they were mine. Was I dreaming? I don't recall how long I lay. I stared at the sun. I watched a dove fly by. And then I was rudely interrupted from my poem. Two pulling hands attached to two green legs yanked me along a wooden deck and up to a table. The small second-story cafe vibrantly smelt of jalapeno peppers and iodine.
How do you feel? Do you want a drink? Oh, you're supposed to wear these to ease the light. Do you feel okay? Are they working okay? Oh, this is Mary.
It's nice to meet you, Anton. I'm Mary. Mary Martin Michael Whitaker. The militia. It's a sign of the militia. Whole country has gone absolutely bonkers. One group fighting another, the other fighting the first. You know the story. It's a real arms race, though. Everyone's importing weapons from pretty much everywhere they can. Guns have basically turned into a national currency.
How do you know this?
NPR, mostly. So, how do they feel? Are they strange in there?
They seem to be working.
You know, I came down here for the same reason, really. It's cheap. And because I wanted plastic surgery since I can remember. Well, maybe only since I was 14. I just wanted to play a whole new part in my life. You see, I'm a theater girl, and I've been on stage since God knows when. I mean, mostly community stuff, but I was never really able to get the parts that I wanted. You know, so when I was 14, my best friend in the whole world, Alice Hess, she got a nose job, and I just fell in love with the idea, you know, that you could just become a whole new woman. I don't just be exactly who I've always wanted to be. I don't know, just be completely recasted. Excuse the pun.
Mary got her whole body remolded. I think it's great.
Yeah, totally. A completely new reconstruction. This flesh moved here, that flesh moved there, but nothing fully replaced. Nothing new. So, like, do they feel different?
Not sure if I can tell you.
It's a nasty little war, you know?
This is what you heard on NPR?
She can even call it a war at all.
We're at war too, Mary.
Right? Yes, you were saying.
But it's not a laughing matter.
Right. We're at war.
You're hilarious. Love poets.
Oh.
Ooh.
It suddenly grew dark, and we all turned to look. Felix stood there, towering over us. He would say something sour, then turn to me, look deep, and then turn back. There seemed something different about him. He was putting on an act I couldn't figure, and he kept checking on my eyes. Felix then announced he had acquired a local wine, and insisted we follow him to the hotel as soon as possible. The streets were dead, silent, some forgotten ghost town. The hotel hallway was lined with Aztec carpets and mustard walls, and at the end of the halls was a green door with the number 6, our room.
Wine. Wine?
Please. And thank you.
Thank you.
Anton? Anton.
Yeah? Oh, please.
Is this the honeymoon suite?
So, Mary, please, enlighten us.
Not much to tell, really.
I don't believe that.
Really? What about you guys?
We're thieves. And crooks.
That's not what I heard.
I was quickly growing agitated, and Felix's flowery gull was not easing anything. He was on a parade for his own holiday. My mind was elsewhere.
Bo is telling me about poetry.
Really? And what was Bo telling you about poetry?
That you three write it?
Well, writing it is one thing. Many people write poetry. Very few do it well.
Well,
Well, what?
well, do you write it well?
What a bitchy thing to say. Oh, do you write it well? And how are we to define well?
A large hole leading to drinkable water?
Okay, I understand. The eye of the beholder thing.
Way to bring up a sensitive subject.
All right, I guess what I mean, okay, like, are you guys published writers?
Sure, published, renowned. Fuck, Bo here, they've practically canonized. An acclaimed scholar.
Felix, leave.
Why? I think she has a right to know. She's in the company of literary esteem.
Felix likes to mock. It's a nice defense against his emotions.
There is no defense against my emotions. They ride along the surface. They bite and bitter, and they tear through life like it were a jungle. They'd be invariably raw and vile, leaving the decrepit in a path behind. That is, if I didn't know how to filter them through the right.
Filter? I shouldn't have spoke.
This one is something else. I found him unpolished, unkept, a child waiting, and now a master. Maybe not with his looks or his style, but give him a pen and watch divine transformation.
If you are in the situation where one is speaking praises, beware.
His calm first words leave you alone. Cole.
Men talk to hear themselves despite their subjects. Men write to rid themselves despite their subjects.
Growing.
Felix was a fine writer, but he was speaking like a clown.
And his closings.
Oh, fuck his closings.
Surging like a big gust of ocean wind, raising the tempest unknown behind you, and you read on like a fool.
My thoughts just tend to drift, blue again, even if just my mind's eye.
The wind. Simply right over.
We poured some more wine and listened to some more of Mary's stories. Beau's face always in a grin, always waiting for her next sentence. We bummed around the room with the TV off. We drank some more. We talked like friends. We got into the hard stuff.
What's this trunk?
Oh, this. This is a surprise for later. Which reminds me,
Oh, Anton, you'll like this.
Oh, yes, you will. The claim is, whether it's true or not, this is the Lance of Longinus.
Felix had often collected strange relics before. It was a hobby of some kind. Gave him proof of a tangible poetic. He claimed to have the lost works of Olin and the poetry of Jean du Bellay. He had the faded Verlaine pistol, and to me it looked like any other spear.
Let me see it.
Whoa, careful with it.
Is that your only weapon?
No, we also have swords. Careful.
What exactly is that?
The Spear of Christ.
The holiest of weapons.
Are you spiritual, man?
Full of spirits, at least.
And what exactly do you do with that?
We use it for female circumcision.
We were burning through the local wine and beer at a frightening speed, but Felix continued to insist. The supply of wine never seemed to end. We found ourselves walking in circles, as if we were waiting for something. Beau kept his grin throughout the night. Soon Felix was reciting his poem. I had begun to feel sick.
Dionysius is complete in his passions. His rites, a complex and interwoven spell of sex and drunkenness.
There was a feathery feeling running down my back, up my left leg. Felix kept speaking his poem,
Although
but I
not
could only
abused,
hear the
he,
tones.
The god of the moment,
My mind kept racing
god
to
of
those
the
lips,
awakening, the lustful
hidden lips,
joy,
behind that
the
beautiful
real
plaster,
and tangible sensation,
behind that protective bandage,
the impulse,
beautiful lips behind
following
beautiful
any
lips.
and every urge.
And before I knew what
suddenly-
had happened,
Do you need a tissue?
You were able to do that without touching yourself?
There's no need to be embarrassed. This happens.
It's liberating. I gotta try. Oh.
Well, I gotta.
That's astounding. Oh. 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 Oh.
when we had all finished ourselves a good number of times, Felix suddenly stood and announced his departure from the evening. He was tired, and very suggestively wanted to know if young Mary was tired as well. She quietly agreed and feebly made her way to the bedroom door with a smile, leaving poor Beau with bowed head. But not for long.
You gotta look at this.
My fucking head itches. It's like this.
Don't touch it. Listen. there's something you ought to know about the surgery. Felix disappeared after we came back and we refused. Felix.
Bo had written a new poem based on a legend he'd heard in town. An old man with Schwegos is sent over a waterfall. I smoked my pipe and continued to scratch, always scratching. At my age, what could I do but plagiarize? When we said this, we caused a commotion. We were called the Boy Bandit Kings, the Troublesome Three, living punk prophets climbing through literary circles with each new passing drug. We made our names quickly known, despite the little writings we actually produced. We sailed on Bo's past, we sailed on Felix's money, we sailed on my violent public stunts. We had been a cocky crew, claiming style as character and telling anyone who asked that we had learned poetry from Georges Lombard, Frater Preterabo. In public, we would name Virginia Madison, Robert B. Carr, Alcofriva Nachier, Francis King, Virginia Rape, Patsy Montana, and Raymond Russell. In private, we would read Catullus over and over once more. We would quote to each other Alarme Valéry, Germaine Nouveau, Eugène Delacroix, and Théophile Gautier. And we always seemed to be making lists upon lists, which the journals ate and hailed, while we snickered and winked. The poet's job for us was to know what you didn't, and to shout what you thought you did. I tried to keep occupied, but I was growing weary. Time had slowed, and I wondered if the night would ever break. It seemed to hold strong. Longer and longer it grew, like the shadow of a gunslinger. They had called us the Boy Bandit Kings, like the kid. So where was our Patty?
Don't fucking trust her, man. She's a fucking spot.
Felix, drop the spear, get against the wall.
Oh, fuck, you just tried to rape me!
She's fucking lying.
Calm down, okay? Shut up!
Felix, were you gonna rape this woman?
I was going to perform a certain act with Mary. Mary wasn't interested in performing this act with me. I figured she didn't have to be interested in it. She just had to be there for it.
Well, fuck, Felix. I think that's rape.
I think so too.
Fucking told you!
That's a war crime, Bo.
You're right. Felix, we're gonna have to cut off your balls.
Fucking told you, man.
Oh, sorry about your balls, Felix.
You fucking jerk-offs! Come down here for your fucking playtime! Get up! Don't you know that people are in real pain? Human fucking beings! Here and outside and all around, there is a real war going on out there that really means something. Sick fucks. You are sick motherfuckers. Especially you satanic cocks, so get over there. Now listen to me. Now I have every reason to blow your fucking cocks, your guts, and your brains straight to hell. But I wouldn't waste the fucking ammo. Unlike you rich, white piss pots. I believe in a cause.
I don't think it's fair for you to say that, Mary. We believe in things too, very specific things. And for you to attack us like that, just saying, you look pretty rich and white under there too.
I don't think she used to be, nor was she ever a female.
You shut the fuck up.
All I'm trying to say, Mary, is that we like you. You should consider putting our weapon aside and talking to us, seeing what we have to say. Maybe you can find some freedom in our lifestyle.
I said shut the fuck up! You're not talking about freedom! You're talking about poetry! Poetry is a form of art, and art is a form of religion. And religion is used to keep the powers in power and the masses from revolting. Now what you're talking about is the closest thing to evil that can exist. Poetry is bourgeois.
Long live the bourgeois, bitch! I had slipped into a fever dream. As a child, I often took sick and was kept in bed, with the company of my books and nightmares. But this was something altogether different. I could barely make out the whispers of Bo and Felix as I lay on the floor, and I never really saw them leave the room. I thought I heard my men out there. I hurried to the window. Two hunched figures stood in the shadows, their backs to me. I didn't waste time. I was running down the hall, out the door, into the open light. A man walked by with a coat and hat, and a woman with a long dress, and a sailor selling rosemary. I scraped by houses and home and business. The lamps were quenched. Vapors rose. See the moon watching warily with her last look. Hear the distant voice of El Mago and Los Garnels singing those plain falls. And see the big-eared pigeon hiding behind the moon. Aunt Jackson's carriage went riding by with San Muerte in the wind. Someone kept singing. A black dog walked by. Thinking to myself, break, break, break. Foot of thy stones, O sea. Eyes out there in the dark. Prepare the howling. Found it. I thought there was a rustling insect. In a faraway forest, where the cuckoo sing, and hidden in foliage, the owl was answering. Too late the night called. There was gunfire all around. He struck 11 times upon the bell. Street art reading number 44. And moaning, dear friend. Bo! I screamed. I came to my senses. It was bad off alright. But I couldn't wait around. There were men on the hill reciting passages from the Rings Clatters. I was stuck in that day, no place to turn. I tried to make for an old iron hole in the wall, looking for a king of spiders. I found a street man eating his own arm. I asked quickly why he did it, and why he was following.
Watches shall be kept. That is 2 and 2.
I tried to circle back with my phone. But I tried to pull a button to blood that seemed to stop, but the shock was the worst. One on my shoulder, battle to the brush.
Oh. You'll be all right. I'm good with medicine. I never use bandages. The body has to breathe to heal. And I never use casts either. This is a gunshot wound. But if this were a break, no cast. A sprain, no cast. A twist, dislocation. No, no, nope, no. You guys are with the militia or something, huh?
We're in a war, but we're not guerrillas. Is he gonna be okay?
Oh, he's going to be fine. But you... something's chasing you.
I hit my head.
What was it you said you'd do?
Oh, we're poets.
And you have a missing man.
Yeah.
And that man shot this man.
No. I don't think so.
I think so. Let me tell you about this expedition I once took. You see, I'm a very rich man. I like to do things big. I like to turn my money green, you know? So, I took an expedition into the jungle, looking for madness. And what I found was a home for warriors. Poets, you might say. Poets of the fight, and of the blade, and the arrow, and whatnot. Now, these warriors worshipped a very great deity, a demon. The brother of Satan, some say. Worship might not be the right word, for while these warriors both revered and respected this deity, they likewise longed to kill it. The deity gave them a type of lice. This insect, once it tastes the blood of a beast or man or what have you, lives in horrible discomfort until it's able to be drinking the blood of its original victim. These lice will never stop growing. They can grow as large as elephants, they say. And as they get bigger, the more their hunger grows. They become a great monster, worthy of a great hunter, which naturally is what the men do. They give their soul to the devil. They ask it to send them a louse to suck their soul dry. And then, when the beast has fed, they remove it. They cast it away from themselves. And it grows big and hideous and hungry. I was lucky enough to be allowed to watch the hunt. Do you know why I'm telling you this? Because you have the mark of the beast on your head. Someone sold your soul. Out there, something's watching you. How do you feel?
Hungry and alone.
Of course you do. You said it yourself. You're a poet! Alone. Perhaps you feel lonesome. No? No. You would never admit it. I do. I always feel lonesome. Some people do. Just destiny. I can be surrounded with fancy women, fancy men, fancy girls, fancy little boys. Be wined and loved. Be surrounded with laughter and dancing and trumpet player, and still I'm lonesome. But I've almost never been lonely. Until recently. Some years ago, my unfortunate fifth wife had a sort of accident, and she became my unfortunate late fifth wife. And for the first time, I began to feel lonely. And in my loneliness, being really down there, I started to watch television, something I'd never really participated in the past. I soon grew bored with the available channels, so I began to invest in various cable options. I began to luxuriate in the promiscuous pleasures of American television. And that's when I discovered the show. This amazing show. A lonesome man surrounded by beautiful women in a beautiful landscape. And all the women want to marry that man. I have to admit to you that I watched this show a lot with a religious conviction, and I began to fall in love with the women, with the man, and I fell in love with the landscape, with the castle, the most wonderful castle. And I realized I had to have that castle. But transporting castles between continents turns out to be very difficult. I'm a rich man, but even I have limitations. I did the next best thing. I had an exact replica of the castle built here. I live there. I live in the castle, just like the man on the television show. And you, tomorrow, you will come to my castle. You'll see it. And we always welcome artists and intellectuals, poets, painters, boxers, and all the real people of the world. I think your friend is waking up.
I'm gonna end him, Anton.
Sleep, Bo.
He's done too much wrong. If it comes to a duel, will you be my second?
Yes, Bo, I'll be your second.
I'm gonna end him. Face to face. If it comes to a duel, you'll be my second.
Promise, Bo. Promise I'll be your second.
Wonderful! My castle has yet to host a duel.
Dawn came, and we made our way other side of the mountain. Our guide led on with joyful step, proudly displaying his land and estate. He spoke occasionally. The stranger had seen everything. He had been everywhere, he knew everything, and he forgot nothing. I began to think he might be King Lammas, agelessly learning at a glance. And if this man was right, then Felix was our 22, our Juan Largo. He had sold me to the king of hell himself and shot Bo through the shoulder. He was fixing for a duel, and I was fixing to fight a chigger. I thought it best to keep quiet. We left Bo to heal and rest. I was led around the castle, a vast estate with many towering rooms and hidden dormitories, complete with its own stables and gardens. A hilltop oasis overlooking roaming land for cows and jungle cats.
Now this room is my true place of inspiration. Something about it that fills me with thoughts, dreams, visions. I thought you'd like it.
Oh yeah, this'll do. Thanks.
Don't mention a thing, and don't waste any more time. You need to rest. Why don't you sit down or sleep for a while? I almost forgot. In here, I think you'll find something perfect to wear for a duel.
Thanks again.
Tell me, Anton. How's our good friend Bo doing at this hour?
Still shot. It'll be standing soon.
You know, this dual business wasn't my idea. And how are you doing now?
I'm feeling fine. And you?
Oh, just fantastico. Real good. Feeling strong and steady. Rested. Ready.
Yeah? Well, that's good to hear.
Fuck you, cut the shit. You know what I think? I think you're ungrateful. I think you're an ungrateful little piss-ass street shit. You know the deal I made for you? You know the cost I paid to save your fucking life? I fucking saved you. Not just saved. Gave. I've given you a chance here at something. At something great. Isn't it what you've always said? What we've always fucking talked about? I thought you, of all people, would understand what we're dealing with here. It's about poetry. Look, there's a way that we can both still win here. Both get where we want to be. The only price, well, the price and the journey are one and the same.
You sold my soul.
I bought your immortality. Just pay the price and we're in. You and I. People will read us. People will memorize us. People will copy us. People will be haunted by us. We will become great ghosts to those that follow. Look, this isn't going to go away. You have his eyes. He lent them to you. Because he wants to help. Help us step into great holy darkness. But you fucked it up. You went with that chubby shit, and you both fucked it up.
over.
Looks like I'm gonna have to go through with this. It's been declared properly and all. The duel will be in 3 parts. Guns, swords, and spears. I want you to be there for me. As my friend. As my brother. As my second.
I already gave my word to Bo.
Fuck! Okay. He got to you first. I understand. You can be both our seconds. I want you there, Anton. Keep smiling, Anton.
Hey, Felix! Keep your pants buttoned. I hear there's some nasty big crabs in these here parts. No! Bo!
Still willing to be my second?
Sure, Bo.
I say, you really slay the motherfucker.
I say so too.
Anton, I just want you to know, I think you're a really good poet.
I made my way by moon through the forest, surviving off blackberries and rose hips until I found a port and ship to take me in. I am deserting the war, like Gaucho Gil. I've grown tired of it, and can no longer bathe in these words. Let none look at me. My mouth is silent, and the sea is called.